Alrighty, well, we've transitioned live because much as I love Qubit, I just don't feel that we can wait any longer right now. So, Qubit, if you're watching this, please know that we love you and that the moment that you're available, we're here for you. Why in the hell is this thing not letting me change anything? I'm trying my best not to scream at OBS right now. So, hello everybody. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm super sorry about the lateness. That is not my preference. I also don't have my lighting turned on right now, which is why I'm all dark and whatnot. It's not because I'm trying to make this moody. Although that is a...
Night in District 10!
That is a sort of a side benefit. See, it's supposed to be like this. I've got a whole thing. I've got all my good little streamer bits. And then I just can't ever seem to make them work all at once. Also, why is this... What happened to my setup that this thing is not... I'm going to scream. Anyway. Yes. Yes, it was the cats. Somehow. I don't know exactly how, but it was the cats. Anywho, hopefully you guys can hear us. It looks like I've got everything going properly. Can anyone just sort of confirm for me? Though it looks like we're all right. Oh, yes. All right. People can definitely hear us because Michi just commented on the cats. All right. So, first off, I would like to say thank you very much to our various sponsors. We got some sweet ones. Tabletop Loot for bringing the loot that one would use on a tabletop. So Nerdwear, because it's what the nerds wear. Devin Rue, Rue Inc., for all the sweet mappiness and also for being our awesome, longest, firstest, mostest, bestest sponsor slash supporter. And then, of course, Roll20, because they have been helping us out with all the Roll20 bits, because they're pretty cool too. And then, of course, I also want to thank you. Someone joined the party just a little bit ago, and I saw the little notification about it. But now, where's their name? Who is it? Corey Hickson! Holy shit, thank you very much, Corey Hickson, for joining the party. We do appreciate you. So, all the little finger hearts and whatnot that we can possibly manage. See? Look at them. So, the person who is currently in Dwyer's slot is obviously not actually Dwyer. That is Portia, a.k.a. God, within this stream.
Which is the weirdest designation, and I giggle at it every time, and I don't like calling myself it, but I'm God?
Yeah, well, so for today, I mean, you can just call yourself Portia.
I'm Portia. Hi.
But, yes, that is the nickname that Portia was granted a game or so ago by Shakespeare and Qubit and Moogs.
By screaming from another room.
Yes. We are going to be minus today a Moogs, which is why I have placed happy-looking Moo Cow in Moogs' spot. So that hopefully he will not be too sorely missed.
Oh, are we not going to try and imitate his accent? Is that not happening?
I don't really... Is this how he talks? A little softer and a bit clipped? And moo. Moo? Moo. There, that's what I've got for you.
You're terrible.
That's the best I can do. My impressions are only so-so.
Beat boot, motherfucker.
I'm scared if I ever...
Oi, governor, beat boot!
No, stop it!
FedEx, do not make me come in there with my hammer, which I have right there.
I don't know what is more insulting, the bad accent or the fact that you're doing a London accent. I am not Southern.
Anyway, so, who would like to... Well, actually, first we should go around, and for the three of you who are here, it'd be real cool if you guys could talk about who your characters are, and also, we leveled. So maybe giving a little bit of information about what you guys did with your levels, because we've got this little slider thingy down here, but it may be I mean, I hesitate to call it out of date, but it might not be quite as detailed as it used to be. So, why don't we go ahead and start with Shakespeare? Tell us your character, your character's name, their class, maybe a little bit about the person. Do they like pina coladas and long walks on the beach? Or getting caught in the rain?
Well, hi, I am Shakes, also known as Shakespeare, and I'm playing Enfield, and this is long, the envoy warforged champion fighter, formerly of the Is It League, who doesn't like pina coladas because they don't eat, and doesn't like long walks in the rain because of the fear of rust. I mean, I don't think they can actually rust, but it's the fear of rust, which was probably put into them as a way to make them behave by goblins at the Is It League.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Your exoskeleton is made of a mysium alloy. It's a stable form of mysium, as opposed to the inside of your badges, which is pure and thus highly unstable when exposed to oxygen.
Yeah.
But
Enfield didn't so much have a childhood, but if he had had one, I'm sure there would have been people going, "Now be good, or we'll make you explode."
Oh yeah. If you don't eat your dinner, I'll make you divide by 0 again. Solyndra, talk to us. Sorry,
Okay.
Navuti. I apologize. Navuti, talk to us about Solyndra.
Either way works. Solyndra is a wood elf from the Gruul clans. Recently, she had gone back after our long shift to her home to find a cursed blade stuck in the ground, thus giving her her new warlock class. And so she is our resident rogue and now warlock.
Where did it come from?
She does not know exactly. She found it in her home.
So she has entered a pact with something that she is unaware of?
It promised her something in return, what she truly desires, but she doesn't remember exactly what that was at this moment.
That if you turn it into a pebble that goes into her hand.
Intrigue. I
think this needs to be the Ravnican police newest ad splash. Be good kids, don't do pacts. Just say no.
Okay. Next up is Rain.
Hello. I am Rain Hayes, and I'm playing Granny Mivix, who is a goblin of the Golgari Swarm, and she is a spore druid and barbarian. Because why not?
And how did you come to be a barbarian?
Frustration, mostly. She is not very good at casting spells. And actually, thinking about it, in the last few games, she has not done too good with casting spells.
No, it hasn't gone well.
And Wild Shape has gotten a little shorted on her, too, because she got booped in the face the one time she used it. So, frustration gave to rage, and rage kind of went deep into her goblin psyche. And
hate leads to anger. Sorry,
no,
fear
she's a
leads
Sith
to
Lord.
hate. Hate leads to anger. Anger leads to the dark side. Okay. All right.
Now she's an angry little spider.
I do like Shake's comment though. Sporbarian.
Yes. One more time, you're going to see the weird little D20 transition, but that's just because I'm fixing boxes. Fixing boxes. Fixing boxes. Fixing boxes made of ticky-tacky. All right, anyway. So, you guys had a pretty good evening after your exceptionally long shift. That was a 14-hour shift you guys worked. Yeah. But you got everything handled for the most part. Now, I did not make these shared Google Docs. That's my fault. So we'll still want to do that in between times. But we should talk briefly about the two cases we have. The first one took place in a what was supposed to be an orphanage, essentially, and the other one took place in a warehouse. Granny Mivix, why don't you tell us about the orphanage?
The orphanage was supposed to be an academy for wayward mages, and it wasn't. When we went there, we found a crime scene of a single arm propped up through the floor with a pool of blood around it. I proceeded to badger the crap out of the person that owns the academy, and went upstairs with her and Enfield while everybody else did their investigations, found a secret door to a room underground, where they found the rest of the body hanging from the ceiling of a merfolk, as well as various torture implements, I think it was.
Yep.
And we badgered her enough that she turned into thousands of little bugs and sicked her gargoyles on us.
Yes.
And I captured some bugs, and we convinced most of the gargoyles to leave. One left after hitting Enfield once.
Yes. And
I mean, I think I hit him first, so it was
you did.
justified.
It was warranted.
yeah.
It was warranted.
And Selendra, what happened in the warehouse?
So we got to the warehouse that had this giant hole in it. Told there was this giant creature that created the hole. We followed it down through some what appeared to be Rakdos tunnels. Found a bunch of eggs, which Enfield quickly squashed, as many as she... Can't remember Enfield's pronouns. It's my brain
They.
fart.
They.
So,
They.
my bad.
That's it. It was a brain fart. Which they quickly tried to squash as many as they could. We fought the Sharkter crab, and it tore Enfield in half.
Almost.
Almost.
You were only
Hanging in by this.
mostly eviscerated.
It was just a flesh
hanging in
wound.
by the skin of my entrails that I don't
Just
have.
but a scratch. We followed it under the water, found more eggs, found baby versions of it munching on a dead scientist, follow the almost exploding pipes to this goo mage and a homunculus named Mike.
Hank.
We quickly
Hank.
just...
Hank.
Yes, Hank.
You
Mike
called him
was
Mike
brother.
because you said
Yes.
that he was
Hank
Mike
Wazowski.
Yes. From there, we quickly dispatched of him. I grew a tail and got blue hair. Everybody else seemed to be fine with the goo. And the goo mage escaped down into the, grate.
For what it's worth, everyone else interacted with the other goo.
Yes, I'm the only one that liked the blue, apparently.
All right. So, two big incidents. In both cases, the apparent culprit managed to get away. So, and in both cases, you have really more questions than answers. So you had talked last time about what you're going to do to try to sort of run down some of these leads. That's going to involve going and talking with members of the different clans, a certain amount of, different guilds, I apologize. That's going to require a certain amount of sneakiness. Additionally, when you get in, Sarge is waiting for you. He always seems to be waiting for you, to be honest. Whatever time you get in, he is always there 15 minutes earlier. But he is waiting for you guys. He's leaning casually against a desk, with his arms folded across his chest, as you guys come in. Hello.
You sleep here?
Hello.
Yes. Now,
Oh, okay.
I have a room upstairs. I rent it from the city. It helps to keep me neutral.
Granted, we were also offered rooms here.
Yes. And when you start finding pipe bombs in your current places of residence, you may find yourselves motivated to move.
You mean that's not normal?
You're from the Gruul?
Yes.
Well, then, your normal is a bit different. Now, we have quite a lot to do today. Unfortunately, it seems we are missing a few. Where's Angrak and Dwyer?
I think
Not
I saw,
here.
I think I saw Dwyer on the way in. Cart was going past and splashed them full of grime off the street. They may be a little late. I think they were heading back to clean up.
Let's hope he doesn't mutate. All right. So, that being the case, then, we'll just have to make do with what we have. You have 2 open investigations that you need to follow up your leads with, and you do have 1 special request that must be met sometime. And he pulls out a clipboard. Yes. Your presence has been requested at the estate matter of Karlina Orzov. She says that it is an issue of some urgency, apparently some kind of pricey theft. I don't know the details. That's for you to find out.
Would we recognize the name?
Orzov, you definitely recognize. No one actually, so very few people have the last name Orzov, and those who do are generally either within the direct line of leadership of the guild or in the extended family. It's a roughly 2,000-year-old family, so not every Orzov is, super involved with the day-to-day runnings, but pretty much all of them are quite wealthy at the very least.
Mm-hmm.
Portia, stop screwing with it. Just let us see your lovely face. Anyway. Plus, that way you can be you're our live reaction video. See? Okay.
God reacts.
The quiet edition.
Yes. So, you have your... you've got your instructions. Yeah, sorry, I had a total brain pop for a moment.
Did you say what was stolen?
She did not, no. You will have to go. I did not take the message myself, or I would have asked for more details. She apparently called during the overnight shift.
I'm going to turn to... Do either of you know where we're supposed to go?
Do either of us know where we're supposed to go?
I can tell you where she is, or better yet, I can hand you this tiny piece of paper that has her address on it. That way I do not need to say it out loud, because frankly I actually forgot to write down that detail ahead of time.
Yes, Plot Street. I've been there.
Yes, you will be heading to Lane.
It's very meandering.
Oh,
Pops up in all parts of the city.
I read it and then just hand it to Solandra.
Right, so we're going to the sewers?
Would that be fast?
It is
Be
up
fast
to
for me.
you to decide the order in which you accomplish these tasks and how you accomplish these tasks. I will say, meeting with Madame Orzov is, for political reasons, likely better to be first, but you may have your reasons for making her wait. I leave it to you. I have paperwork to attend to, and also other business. I will return. And as he's looking around, you realize that he's hearing something that you guys don't, until eventually there's a loud clatter in the requisition area where all of the tools and weapons are kept, and he rushes back there fairly quickly.
That sounds like somebody licked the science.
So, we have a delicate diplomatic matter. Just looks at Granny and looks at Solyndra. And just,
Don't worry, subtlety is my middle name. I had very odd parent.
what's a middle name?
It's the name that comes after your first name, but before the last name that most people don't have.
I only have one.
Yeah, that's normal.
How about we figure out what all we have to do today? Because I know we have to meet with the Izzet, possibly the Rakdos, and there was 2 more. What were they?
The Simic and
The gruel.
the Golgari.
Oh, the Golgari. That's right. Not the gruel.
Also, I was going to try and interview the bugs.
Yes. We could start with that if you'd like.
We might as well, as since we're here.
We're here. Yeah.
Something tells me that's not going to take very long.
It's like, what do you think?
No, I actually have a very specific method, and I'm going to go over to my desk and pick something up. And I'm going to go towards interrogation where I left the jar.
Your jar is not in the interrogation room. There is a note from Lucas, the leader of the hit squad, your investigation team, that says that he has placed them into the observation chamber, and you should come talk to him if you would like to get them back.
God, nobody can just leave their things alone.
I'm just following Granny, by the way.
For what it's worth, you left them there for like 15 hours.
Yeah, but that's you gotta make your subjects sweat before you interrogate them. You gotta give them time to think about how guilty they are.
True.
Do insects sweat?
They do if you leave them there long enough.
Honestly, just curious. I don't think they do. They don't have pores.
Insects do not sweat.
Even if we get a magnifying glass in the sun?
No.
They
Well, that's
just
called
burn.
cooking. That's just called cooking.
Yeah, they just die. Okay, so what do you do?
I'm gonna go towards where Lucas is.
Okay.
I'm gonna
I
follow
want my
Granny.
goddamn bug suspects. And suspects, you might say.
Bug spec.
Lucas smells you coming and hops out into the hall to head you off. Hello. Oh, you got my note then, yes?
Do you have my bugs?
I do. Well, in a manner
Can I
of
have my
speaking.
bugs?
Come in here, please.
I really want my bugs. I'm gonna follow him in.
Okay.
And it's gonna follow too.
All right. So he takes you into a small observation room with a silvered one-way panel. And so you can see through the glass. It shimmers a bit. It's not perfect. It's not as good as like what we would use, for example. But it gets the job done. You can generally see what's going on the other side. And were it a person in there, they probably wouldn't be able to see you too well. He says, all right. If you take a look in there, you will see I have hooked a few of the bugs up to some equipment. Now,
How high is the bottom of the window?
you can you're like here.
Just barely get my nose over it.
I'm just gonna lift Granny up. Just like arms and hands
I'll just start
under the
giggling and
armpit.
hang their limp.
Just lifting her up like a toddler.
Now, I suspect that if we run magical current through the nervous system of our Crawley friends, that they might become more talkative. I wanted to make sure that you were here before I began this experiment, in case you might have any professional input.
I was just gonna threaten him. I'm gonna hold up what I had in my hand, which is my pet spider.
Excellent. Well, I don't have all of them hooked up, so hopefully this should work out just fine. So then, do you want to push the button?
You said this is going to make him more talkative?
I hope so. It would certainly make me more talkative.
Do you speak bug?
No. Do you?
I can.
Oh, well, perhaps you should be in the room then.
Am I going to get zapped in the room?
Not unless I hook electrodes up to your lobes.
I'm thinking about whether I want that or not.
I just slightly move Granny away from Lucas, just a bit like, no.
I'll signal Enfield to let me down. I'll go into the room.
And I put it down.
And I'm going to cast. Where is it? Where's my character sheet? Spells. Speak with animals.
Now, speak with animals. Yeah, okay. Beasts are a bit interesting. Okay. The bugs do not seem to be speaking in any immediately comprehensible language. And you hear there's like a little pipe connecting both rooms, and so you hear through this pipe, so it sounds kind of tinny. All right, I'm going to hit the button now. And then
I'm going to crouch down with wide eyes and watch.
Enfield and Cylindra, you see him push a little red button hooked up to an overly large metal box with a series of wires headed out into the observation room. Granny Mivix, you are standing in front of several bugs. One looks like a cockroach. One looks like some kind of a multipede. And one of them looks vaguely like a ladybug, perhaps. Each of them has like a little, like the little plate nearest what looks like the back of their head, like sort of
How did you get the electrode so small?
pried open, and then tiny little metal leads are attached to them. A blue energy crackles down the wire, and as it travels along and then hits each bug in turn explodes in a shower of little buggy bits. Vzz, pop, vzz, pop, vzz, pop.
Say that 5 times fast.
Vzz, pop,
don't-
vzz, pop.
No, little buggy bits.
Little buggy bits, little buggy bits,
Explodes
little
in
buggy bits, little buggy bits, little buggy bits, little buggy bits.
All right, red lorry, yellow lorry.
I didn't catch their answer. Could you do it again?
No. I think I might have gotten the power wrong. No.
Really now.
I don't
We're
know what
using
happened.
evocation.
Enfield is watching really, really curiously through the window because magic is running right through them, and they're not exploding. So they're kind of like, huh, maybe it's a size thing.
Okay. Okay, are there other bugs in the room?
There's a bunch of bugs in the jar. So Lucas is quizzically looking at his box, but he is otherwise checked out now. He is focused on his problem and is largely unresponsive. Mivix, you are in a room with metal tables, easily cleaned walls and floors, and a jar of bugs.
I'll wander over to the jar. I go, you see what happened there? That's the nice way out. And I'll hold up my spider. Where's the rest of you?
Do the bugs react?
Yeah.
The bugs
When they
react.
exploded?
When their comrades exploded, they all stopped moving. And whereas before they were sort of climbing around inside the jar willy-nilly, they stop and are all staring at where those bugs used to be. All of them are staring at the same spot. When Granny Mivix comes over, they are all staring at Granny Mivix. You don't hear them speak any particular language, but give me a perception roll. Okay. Yeah, you're...
+5 in perception.
Sometimes you roll a 4. Yeah, they don't seem to be reacting or responding like beyond the obvious. But you have their attention.
All you want to know is where the rest of you are, or is. Are you a 1? You have to be a 1 if you're. Well, you could all been 1 in. No, anyway. No, we want to know where the rest of you are.
Where in the world is Ookie Boogie?
They sort of coalesce now. They all move to one spot and are all staring up at you. Give me another perception test.
It's just a step to the left.
And then a jump to the right. All right. What you hear something, but it's sort of it's difficult to explain. It's like a humming noise. You can hear sort of a high-pitched humming noise that seems to be coming from multiple sources simultaneously. It is not immediately discernible as language.
I'm gonna frown and go, "What's that? Speak up! I'm a granny. You gotta speak up. I don't have hearing all that well. Lots of explosions. What's up? What's going on? What are you saying?"
The humming gets louder. Make a will save. Or sorry, wisdom save.
Wisdom.
Yes, wisdom save. Nice.
Are we protected by the glass?
Yeah, you guys are fine. They do not have line of sight on you. Okay, you pass the wisdom save. The humming gets a lot louder and then seems to die down again.
Listen, I understand that you're angry, but there's no call for shouting. Just tell me where the rest of you is. Or could be, maybe.
The bugs start moving in unison from left to right in the jar. Initially slowly, but gaining speed as they move this way, and then move this way, and then move this way, and then move this way.
I take out my notebook, like, okay, so I take a left, and then I take a, wait, that takes me to 10th Street, and take a right, and...
And as they're moving, when they come
Slow down, I can't get all this down.
When they start getting to the direction that's closest to you, they slam into the jar. And then they move back, and then they slam into the jar. And the jar is beginning to inch ever so slowly towards you.
You can't have my lunch. I'm not going to give you my lunch. I start backing away with my robes.
Is it getting close to the edge of the table?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
I'm going to yell at Granny, don't let it fall off the table.
Enfield is just going to look at Lucas and be like, is that room sealed?
What? What room? What? That room?
That room.
No.
If the bugs get out.
No,
can
that room
they
is
get
not
out?
sealed. If it were sealed, then the gases that we use from time to time would just stay there. No, it's in fact quite porous.
Did I
I
kill
want
them?
to start rushing towards the jar. In hopes
Should
to
I-
catch it if Granny doesn't.
Should I just... I mean, they're not really giving me anything. Should I just kill them all and maybe start over with another bug?
Solyndra enters the room, Granny.
Oh, good. Should I just kill them?
Don't let it fall! I'm going to just try to pick up the jar before it falls to the ground.
Yeah, like you get it like probably 4 or 5 inches before it like would be tipping.
I'm just like,
The
nice
bites.
try.
The bugs all when you pick up the jar, the bugs immediately swarm to the areas on the other side of the glass where your hands are, and I need you to make a wisdom save at disadvantage.
I'm going
That's not
to
cool.
I'm going to hold my action until they manage to get out of that jar.
I'm going to watch.
Disadvantage. So a 19 or a 8.
An 8 it is.
I tried.
Solyndra,
This is how I get possessed again.
It is. You are an open conduit.
I'm just imagining now I have like the Nephilim in my head, my sword in my head,
And
bugs
now
in my head.
bugs.
So, what you all hear through Solendra's like moving mouth is, "We are the voice of the mother swarms.
Sorry, was that Mr. On or?
We are the voice of the mother swarm."
Excuse you. I'm part of the Golgari. We are the biggest swarm around here. We don't need no competition.
You have always had competition.
We're gonna have to talk about that at some point. But first, where's the rest of you?
Elsewhere.
Oh, well
we
done.
are everywhere, but we are coming closer.
You're in a jar 5 feet away from me.
And closer.
I look around like, I don't think there's anything 5 feet closer. Okay, well then, riddle me this, Bugman. What are the Nephilim?
Information you don't need.
I feel like you don't know how interrogation works. I ask questions, you give me answers. You don't decide what's important. I just kind of piece it all together because I'm a genius.
We are the mother swarm. We are not in captivity.
You're saying you won't miss all these little guys.
They are but vessels.
Vessels for the mother swarm.
Yes.
What does the mother swarm want?
To spread.
Okay, I'm bored. I'm going to cast Moonbeam.
Okay.
Yeah. Fair.
Best way to break a possession.
Sure. Yeah.
There was so many things I wanted to do first, but
I mean, you have opportunities.
So we'll say that was some conversation for more than one round. If you would like to attempt something.
okay. When I'm possessed, can I still cast spells, or am I just like a drone until they're done with me?
You're a drone until they're done with you, or you make a will save.
I would love to make a will save.
Because Granny's not that smart. She there's not a whole lot of questions she has.
Still disadvantage or just straight will
It's
save?
actually a contested will save.
14.
Oh, they rolled a 15.
Fuck. I
In your head, what would you like to be doing?
I'm sitting here going, detect magic. Why won't you?
Enfield is just taking very, very neat note.
And I'm sitting here in my head. You are watching me. Like, if you can see into my head what I'm thinking of doing, I'm thinking of different ways to smash the jar, set it on fire, boil them alive inside the jar. I'm
Drawing a small sketch of the jar.
I'm thinking of so many ways to just get back at them.
If only anyone had telepathy.
Okay. So, Moonbeam happens.
I die.
Cast your
It's not going to
Moonbeam.
kill you.
I'm just imagining, like, Granny Mivix is behind me at this point as I'm holding the jar. And Moonbeams just go slam into my back.
Constitution save. Nope. That'd be 18 points of radiant damage.
Oh.
Okay, so Solyndra cooks a bit. All the
I
bugs,
cook more. I cook a little bit more than a bit.
all the bugs fry to death.
Oh,
A charred cylinder of light, sorry, a cylinder of light spreads through the room and leaves the floor charred. The bugs are all melted inside the jar. Somehow the jar itself survives, and Solyndra, you are released from your hold.
I want to just drop the jar
I'll catch
and
it.
then fall forward and lay on the ground, like arms to the side, face down.
Hey, okay there, Solyndra?
Ow! I'm just gonna lay there for a minute.
Yeah, I would feel the same way if I had bugs in my brain.
It was that spell you just cast. It really freaking hurt.
Well, I had to get the bugs out somehow.
That took almost.
Have you ever seen what happens when you take like a warped piece of glass and you're just kind of putting it over the bugs at an angle? It's basically what I just did.
I'm just imagining like the back of my uniform is like missing some, and so I have this like radiant burn across my whole back. The tail is missing hair.
Enfield just like kind of opens the door and puts their head around. It's just like, are we finished here?
I'm just laying there because that took like over half my HP. I'm just like, oh.
Lucas hands you a tiny little metal tin with a cream salve in it. Rub this on yourself twice daily until the burns go away. It should aid with the pain somewhat and perhaps regrowing the hair.
I'm just gonna take it. I'm just gonna lay there for a minute. I do not want to move. It all hurts.
Are you going to be a sad sack about this for the rest of the day? It's just a little moonbeam.
So, what did we learn? Mother Swarm?
Yes.
Apparently in
Cubit!
direct competition with the swarm.
QB.
QB! QB be coming.
She'll be
Speak of the
coming
mother
into
swarm.
the stream when she comes. She'll be coming into the stream when she comes.
I'm just imagining like Dwyer gets there, sees Solyndra on the ground, like not wanting to move. Fried.
I'll have to move to another box. I'll have to move to another box.
Love you, Portia. Go away now.
We love you.
We love
I
you,
have
God.
to move to a not box.
Angarek has his cow box.
Okay, we need box for God campaign 2.
Yeah,
And we'll start the petitions.
I will talk to Throck about putting in a God reaction box.
It's like a little one, like a little icon
Not
first one.
full size one,
Yeah.
just an itty bitty one.
Yeah, I will talk to Throck about it. Okay, chill.
Why do I have to go down?
Because Thanos snapped.
50%. Not math. Not 20%.
Okay, so
Not
you...
20? Okay, 20.
Anywho, so you guys are trying to figure out... until QB gets here. Let's just keep going. So...
I'm just gonna walk into the room and like pick Solyndra up and set her on her feet. Kind of brush some char off her shoulders. Oh, you finished now?
I want to examine my cloak that I just got from.
Your cloak is fine.
Yeah,
Wait,
that's the wonderful thing about magic items.
I'm going to put it back on and be like trying to cover myself so I look decent in front of people. Going, I need a new freaking uniform now.
You are going to
You
be a sad
do?
sack about this for the rest of the day, aren't you?
QB's here. Love you, Portia. Bye. See you soon.
Bye, God. Bye, Gilby. You look so snuggly.
Zed has to kick me out because I'm not going willingly.
No, it really is a snap. Zed, you missed the chance to
Boom.
snap and then kick her out.
I agree. I thought about it.
Too sad.
Slightly upset.
Don't be sad.
No, we all just keep a scared eye on the chat.
She's like 30 feet away. She is with us always.
Hence God.
Yeah.
And also with you.
I'm just fixing boxes.
Hi, QB. How are you?
Good. I just got off work.
Yay!
So now I'm like,
I don't.
Running.
I just moonbeamed someone.
Yes.
oh, I love
Yeah.
movies.
It was Cylindra.
Oh.
Yeah.
I hope
Yeah.
you don't mind the excuse I gave for Dwyer not being there first thing in the morning.
Oh yeah, you got dirty and went home to change.
That's very accurate.
Like, you got almost to the precinct, and a carriage just went by and hit like one of those dirt mud puddles and just drenched you.
Unacceptable.
Like, I'm done. I'm going home. I'm changing.
This can't happen.
So I said you'd be late.
Yes.
Apparently, I screwed up your box even still. Okay, so, Enfield, you have finished changing. You come back, and...
Dwyer has finished changing.
Yeah.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
Enfield
sorry,
really wear
Dwyer.
clothes.
Sorry. Dwyer, you finished changing. You've come back to find that the rest of the group is in one of the back offices in the observation rooms.
Okay.
And the floor is charred black. Cylindra looks traumatized, is holding an empty jar of sludge. And there is a metal table that Granny Mivix is standing next to with wires attached to similarly sludged or fizz-popped bugs. Lucas, the head of the hit squad, the investigation team, is in there.
I turn around and I walk back outside.
I just follow.
Can I make a detour to like the weapons room where I dropped off the goo last night?
I'll take that. And I'll take the jar.
You can have the jar.
You
Darn.
can make that detour, sure.
Ow.
The jar in my pack. I'll save you for later.
I'm just gonna catch up Dwyer about our newest assignment about the petty theft at Karlina Orzov's, and just keep get.
Oh yeah, we should probably go do something about
Get
that.
him up to speed about the new special request at the estate of Karlina Orzov.
I'm
Okay.
going to just a slip of paper on my desk, write down all the things that I heard in the interrogation room, and slip it into my desk for future report. If anybody were to actually look at that piece of paper, it would just be a bunch of wires, a couple of bugs, and the word "zap" all around it.
Nice.
Which is what happened. It's inaccurate. That seems right.
Zed, I'm in Dwyer's box.
Well, we did finish changing, he said. So
Yeah.
I guess you're in a Dwyer suit today.
Everything,
Egger suit.
everything lined up so well. I thought I had done it. I was so pleased with myself. Also, Shakes, you're sitting up straighter now than you were before,
Oh, sorry.
and that's really
Sorry,
messing me up. No.
I can't help it. Spine. Sorry.
You.
How dare you improve your posture?
You go ahead and have a spine. I'll fix the box.
I'm
We'll allow it
sorry.
this one time.
Please,
I
Your
will
Majesty,
try it.
allow
I
me
will
to
try it.
accommodate you.
Stop it.
Beep boop.
Oh my
Thank
goodness.
you.
I'm just now opening Twitch to see Angruk's photo. That's beautiful.
Isn't it?
hmm
That's stunning.
Okay, so you, Solyndra, you stop off at the requisition room.
I'll ask, ring the little bell if there's one. Be like, waiting to see if someone will come.
A gnome comes over. She is short, really, even for a gnome. She's about 3.5 feet tall, and she has blonde, like two blonde pigtails that trail down to her ankles. And she walks over to the counter and hops up on a stool and says, "Yes, hello. Can I help you?"
I dropped off 2 canisters of some type of goo. I didn't know if those had been made into anything yet.
Those would have been transferred to the hit squad for further investigation. You would have to talk to Lucas. Oh dear, but it looks like you need a new uniform. Can I get you one?
Please, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. Hang on. I'll be right back. And she hops off the stool and wanders around behind a shelf, and then she comes back out holding a crisply folded uniform, puts it back up on the counter, says, "There you go.
Thank you. And what's your name?
Polly.
Polly. Oh, nice to meet you. Solyndra.
Nice to meet you."
Thank you again. I'm gonna start walking off. Try to duck into one of the rooms that isn't being used to do quick change.
Sure. All right.
Go to my desk. Toss the ruined uniform into the trash. Stupid moonbeam.
Cool. You're good to go? Now, so everyone is good to go. What are you guys doing? You have 4 different guilds that you could go talk to and the Orzhov estate. It is unfortunate you do not have your Orzhov person with you, but they are somewhere else. You don't know. You have not heard from Angrok today.
If we have a map in the guardhouse, watchhouse place, can we look at which is like the most efficient route to get around all of them? Like what's closest?
Make an intelligence check.
Oh, goody. So intelligent.
Well, it's not my fault if your logic processor isn't very
I'm
good.
so intelligent. Oh my god.
You are confident that in the best way to start off your day, in which you need to talk to the Orzhov, the Rakdos, the Simic, the Izzet, and the Golgari, is to go straight for the Demir. Because they always know something.
Okay. Yep.
Now,
I'm
do
gonna
I know
say
how to
that
get there
very-
using the underground?
Yeah, you do.
Okay. If I look at the paper that showed the Orzhov stuff, did it give like a time frame this crime happened? Like it happened during the night?
They gave you nothing beyond what you currently know. You will have to go there to get any more information.
I'm trying to also process and see how urgent it is.
Rich person got stuff stolen. Depends on what class you are, I guess.
I'm a rogue.
Yeah,
No.
so...
To me, this is like...
I knew that was coming. As soon as I said it, I was like, shouldn't have said that. I know it's coming.
I
It's
grew
difficult-
up in a tree.
Yeah, there's no particularly good way to express the urgency of the situation, with like just based solely on the note that you have.
I'm going to pat Enfield's hand and go, don't worry, we'll take the sewers.
I'll be like, let's
Okay.
at least go figure out the Orzhov thing. And that way, if it's not as urgent, it's out of the way, we have the information, and we can just say we're working on it.
That sounds good to me.
We are proceeding with inquiries.
And then we'll forget about it in 2 or 3 days.
No.
This is why we write down our reports.
Right.
I say as
Mental-
there's a drawing of bugs going zap on my desk.
Yeah. Okay, so that's where you guys are headed then?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you want to take the sewers, you can. If you want to call a cart, you can. Either way, it takes you guys about an hour to get there. It's a pretty far ways out. This particular Orzhov Manor, because there are many, borders on some Gruul territory, actually, which is nice in as much as it means that there's a view of trees and a rolling field. But of course is also a bit tense because the Gruul would very much like to burn this down. But it is heavily guarded. There are lots of, frankly, very tall figures wearing gold-plated armor. We're talking giants, like literal actual giants, patrolling the borders of the grounds, wearing huge suits of armor, wielding swords taller than, any two of you combined. And they trundle slowly across the grounds. This being the Orzhov, it's likely that there are other security measures here as well, but that's certainly the most obvious one. The estate is a deluxe-looking mansion that is 4 floors tall, and it looks like a posh English country manor.
I'm familiar with them.
Oh, really? Are you? How?
There's one 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
If we took a cart, I would lay down in the back if I could and be like, Dwyer, can you rub this on my back? Offering Dwyer this slab as my whole back is completely burnt.
What did you do?
Granny
Stood
decided.
still.
Granny decided to moonbeam me at point blank.
Granny mooned you?
Moonbeam.
Point blank!
At point blank.
Yes.
Horrifying.
Gave
That's
Slender
an
the
image.
stink eye. Dwyer, the salve in the tin actually doesn't seem bad. It's sort of a white, creamy substance, smells sort of gently of mint and something else that you're not quite picking up on. It has a slightly medicine-y tinge.
It smells of mint. Oh God.
Yeah, but not in a, you'll say, sort of a cooling way.
Aloe and mint. Great.
I put a little bit on because I don't know what this is, and you have to patch test things first. So tiny little bit, and then I do lay on hands.
To make sure it's color fast. Oh, and then
Yeah.
lay on hands. Nice. Okay. Your back feels cool, then almost cold, then numb, and then relief. How much do you lay on hands for?
6? What you need? I don't. What is? How
I
bad
dealt
you
18
looking?
points of
Belinda?
damage.
I am looking.
18.
I'm
All right,
looking
I do
really
10.
rough.
I do 10.
You're feeling much better. Not great, but much, much better.
Moonbeam is kind of a vicious spell.
Yeah.
Oh, dang.
And someone decided to be like, hey, you have been possessed. Have fun.
New
I also
fear
kind of wanted
Granny.
bug goo.
By the way, Granny, what did you do with the jar?
It's in my backpack.
Okay. So, your cart stops at the top of this long, loopy driveway. and you are at the bottom of a jet black stone carved steps. There's about 10 steps up to a still black cut stone walkway that leads to a huge arched double door.
Is there a grassy area by the stairs?
Like off the stairs, yeah.
I'm gonna pull some moss off and drop it there.
This
Okay.
may,
I
this may
pick
be-
it up.
Hi, that's my moss.
I'm like following. I just silently follow Granny cleaning up.
I'm going
I'm-
to.
I'm going to deliberately look at Dwyer, take some moss off my hat, take out the jar of bug juice, slather some of the bug juice on the side where the stone meets the grass, and stick the moss there.
Why? And then I like take my handkerchief and. We are not here to litter.
This isn't littering. This is
This
the
is
opposite
very
of littering.
definition of littering.
No, littering is trash. This is growth.
This is trash.
This is nature.
This is disgusting. This is bug juice.
As the two of you
It's food.
as the two
And
of you are
Phil's just like
discussing,
stood slightly ahead of this. It's like,
the door cracks open wide enough for a humanoid figure to pop out. They're about 5'10", wearing like a black and white suit, but where their face would be instead is a silken black like wrap that covers their entire face. Hello.
Enfield like steps up and immediately starts in on what is very clearly a rehearsed. Hello, we are representatives of the GDF and have been summoned here. Are you the owner? Are you the owner or occupant of the building?
I am not the owner or occupant of the building, no, but I would absolutely enjoy taking you there. May I take your coats or offer you anything to drink? He also says in a fairly rehearsed.
Again, just like deadpan. Thank you, but I neither drink nor wear coats.
Excellent. I wouldn't have
And I
taken
just
your
look
coats
back
or
at the
handed
rest.
you a drink anyway. Come, please.
Before we head inside, is it possible to see the charred, dead tree that is my home in the Gruul clans?
No, this is a whole different section of Gruul territory.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was just wondering if I looked down and went, oh.
So, guilds in general own lots of little areas. Like,
I was just trying to place myself in the...
Sure. Yeah, you're like in a whole separate area. This would be a completely different clan.
Fair enough.
Okay. So you're brought inside, and the overall sensation that you get in this place is a feeling of cold and stillness. The air is stuffy. Everything is made out of stone or very heavy wood. All the colors are dark black, gray, brown, excepting where there are shocks of gold or silver, which is inlaid into almost everything. The floor that previously, when you were outside, looked mostly black, you realize now is more opalescent. It's black, but with a sheen or sparkle to it that changes as you walk. It's a little disorienting at first because it gives you the sensation of falling. But as you continue walking on it, you become more used to it. You see very few people along your way as this entity brings you through several hallways. And all of the servants that you pass are dressed very similarly to the one that you are following. They are wearing suits with with silken face masks that are covering their features.
Kind of like a morph suit.
Pardon me, like a what?
Morph suit, you know, the skin type. No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like if you were wearing like for a green screen something or other, right? It's like very tight, but it's silk, like it's clearly like high grade cloth, but it's impossible to see through. At least under normal means.
When they're speaking, is it close enough that you can like see their mouth moving, or is it more like, you know, a fencing guard where it's like a structure?
It is close enough that you can see their mouth not moving.
Okay, yeah.
As we walk through, can I do detect magic?
Yeah. It's harder to find things that aren't magic. So that's
I'm just looking for anything that would really stand out that shouldn't be in a household.
All of the servants sparkle with some amount of magic. The ceiling where there are like all these lights, like light sources that are placed at regular intervals, but are sort of hidden from view. Each of those seems to be magical in nature. The fire in the fireplace as you pass what looks like a study also is magical. Most of the floor furniture, stuff like that, is not. But you're not really seeing anything that's necessarily out of place. It just looks like there's a lot of magic here, just used for daily routine stuff.
I was just thinking, if there has been a theft here, maybe there was some kind of magic used that allowed them to get in and out of such a high guarded area.
A perfectly reasonable assumption, but you don't know how long ago whatever it was happened. You don't know really what you're looking for. You don't even know if you're in the right area of the house.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. As we walked in, since I could do it at will now, I might as well have it on as much as possible.
Yeah, and just remind me.
Can I ask a quick like OOC question? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Does Solyndra have her hawk out?
No, not right now.
Just because I'm pretty sure I would have noticed a big bird, so I just wanted to make sure that I wasn't missing.
It's more of when we need to do recon. She'll.
Oh no, I just really like the
otherwise
idea of the bird shitting in the holes in the mighty.
She doesn't want to put her hawk in any more danger than she needs to.
Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, Zed, you were saying before everything.
Oh, you're fine. That's actually a perfectly reasonable question. Okay, so you are brought to a what looks like a large dining room. There is a table longer than any you've ever eaten at. With space for 1, 2, 5, at least 30, but you sort of lose track. And there is a woman wearing a white flowing dress, multiple draped layers, with a sort of a V-shaped motif. Like at multiple points, continually headed towards like down and middle, until it hits like her waist where it flares out in skirts. Her skirts are somewhat layered, so that you can see like white and black kind of moving in between them. She stands as you enter the room. She is a tall woman. She stands at 5'11". She has raven black hair that is straight and just straight down her head. Goes to about her waist. Her eyes are equally as black, and her skin is quite pale. Ah, the constabulary. It's high time you finally got here.
We understand you would like to report a theft.
I would.
I'm going to lean towards Cylinder. What's a constabulary?
I take out my notebook.
I'm gonna just like do the whole like pat Granny Mivix on the head, kind of like, I don't know.
Are you supposed to stab people?
No.
Someone has stolen my hand mirror.
Can you
I
just
feel
it?
can't blink, but if they could, they'd blink right now.
There's a
just
slight
like-
flicker of light.
Yeah.
How do you know it was stolen?
Because I have kept it in the same place for the last 30 years. I never move it, never use it, never look at it. And when I went to check it 2 days ago, it was gone.
If you never look at it, why did you check it?
Allow me to rephrase. I don't look into the mirror. I check the mirror to ensure that it has not moved.
Understandable.
I've already checked with the rest of the staff. I have rotated a few of them, whose responses I found lacking. But to be honest, I don't think any of them have it.
Can you
How
describe
often
the
did
mirror?
you?
I'm sorry, I can't understand you when multiple of you speak simultaneously.
Can you describe it? That way we know what we're looking for.
Yes. Belonged to my great-great-great-grandmother, Wilhelmina. It is about a foot in length from the tip of the handle to the top of the setting. It is entirely made of silver. It is encrusted with black opals. And it has an inscription in a language long forgotten around the edge of the glass.
Who was aware of the place where you kept the mirror?
All of the staff.
Anyone else?
Well, that's some 60 to 70 entities. But no, I only trust those I have complete control over.
When was this item taken?
Well, it had to have been sometime between 6 and 7 days ago. I'm not entirely certain.
I'm going to lean towards Cylinder again.
What is it with people reporting this way after the fact?
You see, I check in on it once a week. It was there the last time I checked. It was not there this time. And it took me a while to work my way through the staff.
I'll just smile gently at her and go, may we see this location?
Yes, come with me. She takes you back out into the hall, up a grand staircase, up to the second floor,
Rich people.
down another long hallway, and you pass bathroom after study, after ballroom, after study, after bathroom, etc.
You want bathrooms in this house?
And bedrooms, and everything else. There's quite a lot of space here. Back from the days when we had to use each manor as its own...
Granny's eyes glaze over.
But she continues talking for the entire rest of the time. She seems to enjoy...
Oh, we get the tour.
Yeah.
I'm more like shoot daggers at Granny as in, why did you get her started? Like the Ghoul
Enfield is
clans
just
in me.
turning page after page in a notebook. Just writing it all down.
Okay.
I'm just sitting here going, I could just burn it down. Like the Gruul instinct of
You cannot.
just internally going, I could set a fire there and one there. Oh, 2 over there.
Eventually,
I noticed-
she takes you to a back room where there is a comically large metal door with a humongous metal wheel on it, and then a very tiny little combination spinner. She walks
How many people have the combination to this door?
3.
And they are?
Myself, my chamberlain, my handmaid.
Did this show any signs of being broken or fiddled with?
No, it did not.
Did either the chamberlain or the maid?
That's harder to say. I don't look at them physically very often. Turned out that my handmaid was hiding some damage from me, but I'm not entirely certain that it's related.
What's your damage?
I'll show you that next.
Okay.
She
And-
goes up to the spinner, looks back at you, sort of covers the spinner.
Can I make a perception check to try
Yes,
to
so
see?
can I.
Yeah. Everyone can try.
Just without moving, just kind of like...
Yeah.
Dwyer wouldn't. He wouldn't. He would look away.
Over.
You rolled what I rolled earlier.
Yeah. Oh, for the love of...
I'm a thief. What do you expect?
Yeah, Solyndra, you're
You
pretty...
got me there. You got me there.
Solyndra, you're pretty sure you could get in here anytime you wanted.
Okay. I'm also thinking, like, I got this new cloak.
So she opens it, you hear a click, and then a panel opens. She places her hand on the panel, and winces a bit as the panel turns bright red for a second, and then returns to a dull gray. She takes her hand away, and there's a slight wisp of smoke as she
She's got us out for that.
as she places her glove back on.
Is there a type of magic I see?
Yeah. It's what you're looking at is some weird ass form of like abjuration and conjuration that seems to identify someone's identity. It seems identify an identity. It seems to identify someone based on you're not exactly certain what that would
It's
require.
a permanent identify spell.
Would given background in the Izzet League and maybe them having devices like that, would I be able to tell if anyone could fake getting through one of these things? Is it a pickable lock? Was basically what I'm getting at.
That would
That's what I'm trying to figure out as well.
for both of you, that would require further discussion back at base. So it would be a good
Okay.
idea to make note of it. You don't immediately think of anything, but that doesn't mean that there isn't anything. You just can't think of it right now. She opens the door. So after that singes her, then you hear a very loud series of latches popping around the circular door. She reaches up, twists, and pulls, and the door swings wide.
Do I get any other magic in this area besides that?
Oh yeah,
was
she
on
opens
the
the
door?
door, and the entire contents of the safe. So it looks a bit like a bank deposit room. It's there's a fairly large, sturdy wooden block table in the center, and then a bunch of small to medium-sized drawers, each one of them with a little label on it. And Detect Magic is telling you that there's something magical in at least 30% of these. But there's so much that it's actually hard to discern what any given thing is.
I'm gonna drop it because I imagine like she opens it up and you get that like, oh, there's just a little bit of light coming through, opens all the way,
Yeah.
like suddenly like, okay, good, drop that now.
Yeah.
I'm going to get
Just
down
doing
on
that
all
whole,
fours
like-
and start sniffing my way in.
I'm going to look at the door and see if there are any anything has been tampered with, hinges, etc.
Nothing immediately, like, messed with, no. There doesn't seem to be any damage. So
Well,
she walks over to a particular box, pulls it out, and sets it down on the table. And it's just an empty box.
Okay. Can I do the whole like cover my eyes, cast detect magic again, and like focus on this one box
Yes.
and try to block out everything else?
Yes, give me a perception check at disadvantage.
I'm going to smell the box.
Do we still have our investigation kit?
You do.
Okay, then I would like to use
That's
the
gonna be an
investigation
8.
kit on the box.
An 8 is enough to get you that there is a faint magical residue. It would be easier to check exactly what it is if you're to remove this item from its environment. Enfield, what are you doing?
I would like to fingerprint the box
Excellent.
with the investigation kit.
You mess with the box, with the powders and whatnot, and you find actually that the box has no fingerprints whatsoever.
Hasn't she just picked it? Oh wait, she's wearing gloves.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna write that down
What else are you
in
guys?
character.
Yeah.
I'm going to look for other possible areas of ingress.
Okay. The room has a ventilation shaft because otherwise you would suffocate in here. It's at the top of the room. In the center of it, there is a thin metal grate that you can't really see past, but you can see the grate.
Gail,
Yes.
can you throw me up there?
Yes.
Please, you're not. Please.
I'm gonna just walk over and be like, Enfield, let's just lift Granny.
I'm already lifting it and just like
I'm already
getting it
squatted
to
down like a
stand
shot
on my
put.
shoulder so that I can just like push her up.
Okay. You actually end up having to stand on the table, but you can get Granny there. So Granny, you are now nose to grate.
Does it look like the grate's been disturbed?
Give me a perception check. Or investigation, sorry.
Damn.
Feel like a wake.
Nope.
Yeah, you're not seeing any obvious signs of tampering, but perhaps there are less obvious signs. The grate itself would be removed by, there are 3 screws. One on the left side, one on the right side, one up here, and then one... Nope, just 3 screws. There are only 3 screws in this thing. 4 holes, though, but only 3 screws. But there's no sign of tampering.
What size creature would be able to fit in there?
Your size, roughly, or smaller.
Okay. So I gotta find a small creature.
Okay, since you said there are 4 holes, 3 screws, I want to scour the ground for that remaining screw.
I'm gonna put Granny back down unless she tells me not to.
I'm gonna hang on to the grate.
Oh, okay. In which case, I will just stay there with my hand like just under Granny.
Good. Go ahead and give me an investigation check, Solyndra.
Investigation.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'm going to wild shape into a frog
Okay.
and climb into the vent.
Solyndra.
Is there anything around to board the vent up?
No.
How
Just
rude.
looking up at the vent, like,
Solyndra, you find a screw on the floor that rolled under the table.
I'm going to cast Mage Hand and pick it up,
Okay.
and then walk over to the lady and be like, I think I figured out how they got in.
Granny, you are in a vent as a frog.
I'm going to travel up the vent a little ways and see if I spot any more signs further in.
Sure.
solve it.
Before I do that, Dwyer, what are you doing this whole time?
So while they were
Something
doing
to
that, I was hoping that I could ask a couple more questions.
Okay, yeah, let's ask a few questions. Since everything that they're doing is taking some time, and you've had a moment.
Was there anything else that was missing or misplaced?
No, I had my Chamberlain go through the entire inventory item by item. Nothing else was missing.
Could you think of a reason someone would want to take this particular mirror?
Yes, I can think of several possible reasons.
Would you tell me a couple?
Well, it houses a particularly powerful and somewhat vengeful spirit. Whatever you might want to do with that, really. Additionally, the spirit is Orzovian royalty. Well, not royalty, but a member of the family, certainly. Wilhelmina fell out of favor with the Obsidat through a variety of poor business dealings. She was punished liberally. Quick history check for anyone when she says Obsidat.
I rolled a 1, so clearly I know everything.
Oh yeah, Obsidat. You've heard of that. That's where people
It's a type of
go.
sandwich, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it's not just a type of sandwich. It's the Orzov's favorite sandwich.
Can
That
you
makes
spell
perfect
it
sense
for
in
me,
context.
please?
Say what, Enfield?
Can you spell it for me, please, for my notes?
No, because everyone failed the history check, so you're going to have to spell it the way you think it is.
Oh, no. Okay, can you say it again then, please?
Obsidat.
That's definitely wrong. Thank you.
Yep. Okay. So, next.
I would have laughed if I had passed that, and I would have been the informational one.
Dwyer, one more question before I pop back to Granny.
No, those are my main ones.
Okay.
Carry on.
Ribbit. Granny, your stats, they change in wild shit form or no?
The physical stats do, the mental stats don't.
Okay, and perception and investigation, those are mental?
Yeah, that's intelligence and wisdom.
Good.
All the way around.
Good. Give me a perception check.
Perception.
And then an investigation check. Okay. Yeah, so the vent branches down a bit, you can see. It heads straight, but then there's also a breakaway to the right about 10 hops down.
I'll keep following it until I can find a way
either into another room or out of the house.
Okay. You hop. So you get down to the juncture. If you take a look down the right path, you can see what looks like a streak of black liquid oil, maybe. It's.
I'm gonna link the science.
Thank you, Shakespeare, for cheering 5. Woo! Okay, so you're licking the science?
I'm gonna lick the science.
Perfectly fine. So what it is, it's a streak about 5 inches wide that travels sort of unevenly for about 6 inches down the floor of the vent. You lick it, and it tastes. It tastes like you imagine death would taste.
Oh, I know that tastes very well.
Thank you, Shakes, for cheering 10. Woo!
Dang it.
Basically the way it looks is, and then a kind of disgruntled look on the face.
Yes, a very unhappy frog.
And I'm gonna keep going that way.
Going the way you're originally going?
Going the way the streak is going.
Ah, okay. You head your way down, and I'm going to flash out to the rest of the group for now. What you hear is the unmistakable pat-pat, pat-pat, pat-pat of little froggy hops, sort of echoing gently down the vent. Until there's a pause, and then a few tentative pat-pat, pat-pat, and then I need everyone to make a dexterity check.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Just a check.
Check or save?
Save. Sorry. Dexterity
Oh.
save. One might say dex save for half.
One might say I didn't do very well.
Do I have to do that too?
You're screwed. No, you can also make a save, yes.
Oh, we're not so dexy.
God damn you, frog.
That's perfect.
We love the frog. This is good frog content.
Really?
So,
We do. We love the frog.
here's what happens. From everyone else's perspective, you hear pat, 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 and then a gout of flame shoots out the vent as a large section of the ceiling rips open through the vent, and as flame just ruptures up and down the length of it. If you failed the save, which it looks like everyone did except for Rain, then you will be taking 15 points of fire damage.
God,
Rain takes 8.
see.
That breaks my wild shape.
I'm if Granny falls from the ceiling, Enfield is focused on trying to catch her.
So Enfield does catch a frog that is rapidly not a frog, as Granny Mivix is violently ejected from the remainder of the grate, or the remainder of the vent.
Guys, I think there's something up there.
Fire.
Can I look at the person that hired us and see the reaction of this flame?
She is briefly encased in a magical egg, which, like a blue sort of shell of magic around her, which she then releases, looking completely fine. And she's just glaring angrily.
I just turn around.
Enraged beyond the ability to speak.
Still holding Granny in like my hands, just turn around and be like, Is that a security measure that you've been aware of, or is that new?
That would be new.
Well, it tastes like death.
And I just put Granny down carefully and pick up my notebook and just write that down.
I'm still like, oh crap! Do I have to make a Constitution check to see if I'm still thinking of the mage hand that's holding the screw in front of her that I just picked up? Because I was going to be like, I think this is the way.
Yes,
I have a feeling I would
make a concentration check. Yes.
I don't know if it's concentration, but it is now.
No,
right
it is.
Because I have a feeling I was going to say, like, I think I figured out, and I get to that point when all of a sudden flames. Like, I'm expecting them to hit my back again. Where I'm already burned, and I'm still blaming Granny.
Is there a massive rent in the ceiling now that conforms to the duct? Okay.
Yep.
On the plus side, we don't need to go through the grate again.
I'm going to pull the table over and just get up and see if I can see anything further down than the rent goes. So I'm trying to almost stick
just
my head up.
Just a bunch of black char and like sunken wood.
Using my ghost light torch.
When she finally calms down enough to be able to speak again, she yells out, "Karloff! Karloff, get over here!" And
Karloff's in trouble.
Come on, Boris, let's go.
and he comes over, and Karloff is, you think anyway, the same one that you met earlier, but they all seem identical. It's hard to tell. But one of her servants steps over, standing fully at attention. She says, "Karloff, take a team, assemble the damage. I want that fixed up again by nightfall, and be aware there may be more. Be sure to take plenty of testing fodder." He clicks his heels together, nods, and turns around sharply and leaves.
At the words casting fodder, Dwyer unintentionally looks at Granny. Just for a second.
Whereas Granny is looking up at the vent with a very excited look on her face.
I'm going to.
Enfield is looking at Cylindra and kind of does this.
Now then, while I don't blame you for what has just happened, I suppose it could happen to any organization that is very new and inexperienced. But if you are quite done blowing holes into my home, is there anything else you need before you leave?
Is there a ventilation system that leads outside the house?
I would assume that such a thing is likely. If this were airtight, we would suffocate.
May we see where it exits the house? And also, I'm going to pull out 5 gold out of my satchel and offer it to her for the repairs of my colleague.
She actually, sniffs at it. She's like, huh. And she pulls over another servant. Yes. Ren, please. Show them whatever they need to see. Then make a full report to me what you have shown them when they are done. I will be retiring to my chambers.
I would like to speak to your chamberlain and handmaiden before we leave.
I will make them available to you on the morrow. They will be at your precinct house.
Thank you for your cooperation.
Well, actually, my handmaid will be made available on the morrow. Yes. Have a good evening.
Insight?
Yeah,
Sure.
I was thinking that.
Yeah, insight, that's fine.
Okay.
Granny blindly accepts it.
Really? Why with the 8s? Why just today with the 8s? sorry. I got an
Roll
8.
20 doesn't like it when people know things.
I never know anything.
That's the idea.
Oh, I just realized my passive insight is a 17.
So she mentioned having rotated a number of her staff, and also that her handmaid had been hiding damage from her. When she pauses and then replies, it's almost as if she's suggesting that the handmaid will be delivered, but not necessarily under her own power.
One final question.
Yes,
Both.
one.
One more thing. Just one more.
How did your son know that? Yeah, sorry, anyway.
You said you've already vetted your employees. Did you have any other suspects on your list?
No, that's more your job, isn't it?
What damage did the mage? What damage did the maid hide?
You will see tomorrow.
Have you had anyone in the building beyond your staff in the past week since you last checked on the item?
Yes, I would say half of the landed nobility of the Orzhov and Azorius.
Did
And have any
turn
of
into
them been on the
bugs?
second floor?
A smattering of Izzet, few suspected but not openly professed Demir, quite a few even of the more respectable Rakdos.
Do you have a guest list?
Again, my Chamberlain will bring it with him. He's currently indisposed. You know, cleaning up the fire hole.
Oh, the danger that my colleague triggered and therefore completely removed from hurting you. You're welcome.
I spend a lot of time wandering around inside the vents of my home. Thank you. You have made everything safer.
You're welcome.
We do our best. It's our job.
You do it well.
Thank you.
So, I will retire now. If you have any further questions, send them in a note. And she leaves.
I'm going to smear some bug juice on the wall and put some moss on it.
I immediately cleaned it up.
I kind of
moss?
look at Granny, and then I look at, like, you know, the massive rent in the ceiling, and I just pick Granny up and stand back on the table and lift her up so that she can put moss in the ceiling.
Question.
Stick the moss in the
You
ceiling.
are going to lose moss privileges.
Hey, my moss is my right.
By any stupid chance, that stuff that Granny licked, does she have any of it on her?
No.
Okay.
Tasted like death. At least a little bit like death. Had that sour kind of irony tang to it.
Is the servant
waiting.
still there watching us?
Is who?
Is the servant still here watching us?
There are servants watching you at all times. Oh, shit,
Uh-oh.
we just
Oh,
lost
Cuby.
QB.
No.
Gibby, come back.
QB,
I
come
didn't
back.
mean it. I'm sorry about the moss. Dwyer, leave it.
Let's go ahead and take a break, as it is nearly 8 o'clock. So I would like to thank those of you who have chilled with us in chat, and we will return shortly as I try to pull up OBS and send us to...
Beat it into submission.
Yes.
But can I have a box?
We'll return soon.
Thanks so much for hanging out with us today. If you get a second during break, you should check out one of our amazing sponsors. We're now proudly sponsored by Roll20, the best virtual tabletop for all your role-playing needs. Over 4 million people use Roll20's virtual tabletop to power their favorite games. And with more modules than you can shake a stick at on their new revamped storefront, you'll definitely find something for your group to enjoy. Sign up today by clicking the link below or heading to roll20.net/start/WTTP. Tabletop Loot is an amazing place to get your dice bags, dice boxes, and more. And now you can get 15% off your purchase at tabletoploot.com by using the code WTTPDICE at checkout. Tabletop Loot. Your party starts here. While you're at it, check out our so awesome merch store, So Nerdware. So Nerdware is the place to find all your Welcome to the Party merch and other amazing stuff too. Head on over to sonerdware.com and use the code WELCOME at checkout to get 10% off your next purchase. So Nerdware. It's what the nerds wear. Devin Rue, the amazing mistress of maps, has kindly supported the channel since the beginning and provides graphics for many of our streams. Head on over to rueinc.com to check out some of the best fantasy cartography on the web. Our Patreon supports the creators and producers of the channel by providing Roll20 subscriptions, cost coverage for video hosting, and more. If you want to support the channel while getting podcasts a week early, gaming articles that are published on Patreon first, a shout out during our break, and more,
that it's gotten re-inflamed. Dwyer puts his hand on her shoulder, and I'll do 15 lay on hands.
Cool. So Solyndra, go ahead, heal 15.
Okay, I'm back to where I was.
By the way, we are live.
Okay.
Enfield will get here when Enfield gets back.
Enfield has to reboot.
Yes. Enfield powered down for just a moment. But should be fine after this power cycle.
Por favor.
Yeah. You just see the lights in the eyes kind of like blink back and forth a little bit. Yes, so
I'm just
as
imagining,
you were saying.
like,
Inconvenient timing of an update.
Yeah. Or actually, I apologize. Oi, governor, beep boot.
And you just see Solyndra like press the button, like restart. That was wrong.
Who hit the London button?
I don't know why I find this so fun. Okay, that's definitely going to be an NPC in some other game, by the way. Now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, that's gonna kill Shakes.
Good.
There will be an aneurysm.
After I'm not dying from the fire and not wanting to kill Granny.
Cheers, love. Enfield's here. Sorry. All right.
Enfield's here to disengage.
Okay. Enough fun at Shakes' expense.
Send my hawk familiar up to try to collect some of that death goo.
Okay. So your hawk heads up there. And are you sending your hawk like independently, or are you hopping into its senses?
I'm bouncing between. Like, I'll hop in for a little bit, kind of see where it's at, and pop back out.
Okay. Well, it's not gonna get very far, is the thing. So when you send the hawk up, it heads up the shaft and then stops once it hits the ledge. And then it really can't go any further. The whole vent has just collapsed inward. There's planks and chipped rocks and concrete and all sorts of shit. And it's just completely blocking the path.
I'll bring it back and start petting it like, it's okay, you tried your best.
It nuzzles you.
Were there no openings? Like, there's no small openings in the collapse?
You're not small enough for a hawk to get through.
What about a frog?
A frog even would have some real difficulty. It looks like, I mean, whatever this was, it looks like it was designed to do exactly this, to make it much more difficult to follow the path.
So I have a question for you, Zed, because I said before that my character cannot wild shape into a swarm.
Yeah.
But then I looked at swarms,
Yeah.
and they're CR half beasts, which is what my character can turn into now.
Yeah.
Would I be able to turn into a swarm of centipedes?
Yeah.
I'm thinking about it.
I'll
get back to you with that one.
Okay. In the meantime, you guys are sitting here in a secure room with the door open and several servants waiting around. One of them eventually breaks away from the group and walks over to you. Says, "Hello, I'm Ren. I've been instructed to show you the roof and to take a walk around the grounds and assist you with anything else your investigation requires."
Just give me one more moment.
What is your position, Ren?
I am a butler.
That's a butler.
I take care of the grounds, I bottle.
I'm flashing back to Clue.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Normal
bottle,
bottle.
sir.
Do you know the name of the Chamberlain that has access to this room?
Yes, that would be Karloff.
And the handmaid?
No handmaid currently has access to this room.
The handmaid that previously had access to this room.
That handmaid's name is Jane.
Thank you.
And
And I just stare at him.
You think he's staring back at you, but it's hard to tell.
Why are y'all dressed like
Waiting
that?
for everyone to finish now.
It is for the comfort of guests.
Why would it need to be for the comfort of guests? You usually have guests that don't like people?
You know what the Orzhov do, yes?
They make money.
And?
I'm from the Golgari. They make money. That's all I know.
Then let's keep it that way. What I shall say then is simply, I have served the Lady Orzhov for 132 years.
Oh, so you're an elf.
No.
Wizard?
No.
Can I infer from context what's
Money?
going on? Do I know what the Orzhov do?
Anyone who wants to make a history check, DC 10.
Come on,
This would,
come on.
this would
Just
not be
an
hard.
8. Just not an 8.
I love this is the one that people are knocking out of the fucking park.
It's not an 8.
Why, yeah.
That's all I care about.
I'm just imagining, like, I'm examining, because I want to examine the back part of the door, like the interior part. I'm just overhearing this behind me.
The Orzhov are also known to be necromancers. They deal in spirits and physical bodies and zombies and all sorts of other things.
Whereas the Golgari largely take those things and repurpose them.
Yeah, well, I mean, the Orzhov do too, just in a different way.
Yeah.
It's all weird biology stuff to Enfield.
The Golgari version of a zombie, which is something I can literally do in like 1 or 2 levels, is take their spores, put it into a body, and animate that body. Make a mushroom zombie.
Ooh, like the zombie ant.
Yes, like a cordyceps.
That's the word I couldn't remember.
So,
Can I examine the inside of the door, see if there's any, like, if someone was locked in here, would there be another, could you get out through this door?
how do you propose you examine that?
Are there any handles, like,
No.
lock on this side? Is there
There are no...
anything that would allow you to open this door from the inside?
No. At least nothing you can see.
Interesting. So it's only opened from the outside.
Yes.
So someone with an invisibility spell could have snuck in and just sat there, went through the vents on this side.
Looking at the staff members that I can see from here, Ren and the others who are watching, not watching us,
Yeah.
are there any indications of rank or station or position, or are they all in exactly the same thing?
There are no obvious ranking symbols or anything, no.
Is there anything to distinguish between, are they literally wearing a uniform, or are there tiny differences that could mean anything?
It seems to be a almost impeccably tailored, identical uniform.
Okay.
I'm
Ren.
done in here. Are you guys?
I step close to Ren. The chambermaid who formerly had access to this room, is one of the stuff that has been rotated. Correct?
Correct.
Where has she been rotated to?
The basement.
Is she currently observing any duties?
No.
Thank you.
I'm gonna just look at him and be like, is she with us any longer?
That's a difficult question to answer, given the vagaries of your language. I feel as if you are attempting to ask me something
Is she dead?
uncomfortable for you.
Yeah, Enfield was just about to be like, and then Granny.
Yes, she is dead.
Is she no longer animate?
Also correct.
Will she be able to answer our questions tomorrow?
Not verbally.
In what way?
Well, you can find all kinds of things on a body.
I believe you have a coroner.
Well, there's a corner over there, and over there. It's a 4-wall room, so there's typically...
Granny,
Oh my
Granny,
god, Granny!
Brandon, can you please show us the roof?
Wait. Enfield, lift me up again.
You're not gonna get anywhere.
I saw the bug lady do this.
And I'm going to turn into a swarm of centipedes.
Do you do it before you get lifted up?
No, I do it after I get lifted up, and then I'm going to say, I saw the bug lady do this.
Okay, all right. Because otherwise, I just see Enfield
bring my hands together,
trying
to
desperately to
catch the swarm.
this spaghetti of. All right.
And just try and fluff.
You are in the vent.
centipede.
You are a swarm of centipedes.
I'm going to try to get through little openings that I can and to collapse.
Okay.
And
I'm gonna ask Granny, bring back some of that stuff that tasted like death, please.
I'm just picking up every single individual centipede that fell through my hands and flinging them up into the thing. I don't know if she can coalesce without all of them.
To be honest, I don't know either. I haven't decided exactly how that'll go.
I don't know either. That's going to be fun to find out.
I want to grab one.
This shall be your return beacon.
I'm going to go up into the vents, and I'm going to look for more of the black stuff, but I'm going to carefully avoid it this time. I'm going to go in that direction, but I'm going to carefully go around it.
Okay. There really isn't any remainder of it, is the problem. You head to where it used to be, and you kind of have to circle around a bit because there's so much crap all over the place now. And also you have to be very careful. You nearly lose a few of your centipedes from holes blown through the ceilings of the floor beneath you. But you get to roughly where it was, and there really isn't anything left. Whatever it was seems to have burned away.
Okay. So I have an idea, Zed, as what happens when I separate my centipedes.
Okay. I have an idea too. Let's see if they match.
I was gonna suggest that each centipede be a hit point.
We're thinking along the same lines. Do what you do. Whatever actually happens, you'll find out.
Psychic damage for missing a spleen.
Oh God, my
you
kidneys.
can live without a spleen. You'll be fine.
I can grow one of those back, right?
No, but you can live without one.
I don't know. Let's find out.
I'm going to, as I'm going through the vents, I'm not going to split up my centipedes too much because that's a little mind breaking. But I'm going to keep an eye out for traps so I don't set off any more.
Good. For what it's worth, you did before. You just failed the check. Go ahead and give me an investigation check.
Oh, good. That's my best stat.
Hey, you're the one who's trying to check for traps in a vent as a bug, okay? I didn't force you into this. Okay. Um, so the parts that you're able to get through, you're not really finding much of anything. It's charred, and then eventually, and you don't know exactly how far in you are. Distance is much more difficult to measure in this form, but you feel like you've traveled a long way before eventually the evidence of the char seems to have died down a bit.
I'm going to, keeping an eye out for traps, I'm going to look for an exit out to the roof of the house.
Sure. That's actually, so you don't find an exit out to the roof. You see where you would go, but the side is like too well polished for you to climb. But you, in following what little bit is left of the char, you make your way to what seems to be an exterior vent that it comes out into like a guard, like a metal curved guard that is actually on the other side of the outer wall of the mansion. But you can't leave because you're stuck behind another metal grate.
Okay, Mies, let's work together. And I'm going to try to stack myself on top of myself.
Well, it's not a height thing. It's like you come to the metal grate, and it's too like the slits are too narrow for you to even force your squiggly little centipede bodies through.
What's it made of again? It's
some kind of metal. You are lacking your metallurgy kit in this form.
And is it thick or thin?
Fairly thin. Probably not much more than a few millimeters.
Okay.
Which
is
you
there
can
enough
tell
room
by
for me?
measuring roughly the body segments that it takes.
I'm just imagining one centipede watching another centipede pose in front of him.
Yeah.
Having like a committee of centipedes trying to figure this out. Is there enough room for me to change back?
No. No, very much no. No, it's pretty narrow over here.
Because I was going to say, if I can change back, I can rage and get through that grate.
Understood. But you're fairly certain you would splint yourself were you to change back.
Can the centipedes rage?
Yes, and it would be adorable.
Oh, I would love it. They'd be so mad.
What is their strength? Oh, their strength is 3.
It'd be adorable, unless if they were raging up towards you.
Yeah, so technically I cannot rage as a centipede. And I don't have any wild shapes left.
Nobody clip what I just did.
Too late.
What did you do?
Nothing worth watching.
Somebody
again.
clip it so that I can find out.
No, it's fine.
I'll rewatch.
I'll backtrack. I'll make my way back. Well, I have.
Did you get any of the black goo, like I ask?
It was all burnt up.
It's okay.
Having walked that route, can I kind of remember that route?
Yeah.
So I can find that grate again.
So here's what you got to do, right? You got to squiggle your body through the quarter-sized hole and the nickel-sized hole. Then you have to end over end swing a line of yourselves across what is about a 50-segment long hole. Once you get all of yourselves to the other side, if you scuttle quickly, you should be there, as soon as the black char runs out.
Okay, so what we do So we go about this much that way. And then we take a left. And then I think I was in the back. No, I was in the front. There's a hole. And then we go over that. And then there's a grate.
Wait,
There's
so
a way
what
outside
happened?
from the end of it.
What happened to the centipede I was holding?
I take
So
Yeah, I'm gonna go with I didn't notice Dwyer still had one.
you now have a strip of Granny Mivix's flesh in your hand, dripping.
Oh, thanks. And I take it.
No, I put it in a collection jar. I'm holding it so high you can't reach it as I collect it.
Hey, that's my property.
Granny, you,
Find
by
your
the way,
keepers.
are missing 2 health points.
Okay.
Enfield is just gonna reach over and put a hand on Dwyer's shoulder, like, give them back their body. It's not evidence. You have no need to collect it. Give them back.
If you don't give it back to me, I'm going to put moss on your house.
You don't know where I live.
I'm Golgari.
Also-
I can find it.
Can you do anything with this?
Does it matter? It's theirs.
Can I just
I can
can I do a
reassimilate it.
slide- Can I try a sleight of hand to steal it out of Dwyer's hands?
You can always give them some of yours.
Solyndra, no, because everyone's looking at it.
Well, it's more of I'm not trying to be sneaky about it. I'm just trying to like
So,
get it out.
I mean, you probably could, but it would be an attack action in this context, not a skill check.
Do it, coward.
I feel like I have to do it now.
Go for it.
What do I roll?
It's going to be a dexterity-based attack.
Okay. That I'm guessing I'm proficient in?
Yep.
Okay.
Dwyer, what's your touch AC?
Oh,
What sucks is I can't rage in this form.
Natural 20.
oh dear.
Oh, well, it doesn't matter. Solyndra
Yeah.
grabs the jar.
As
I
a
just dropped my hand
reaction,
from-
As a reaction on a melee attack. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, then fucking crushes your skull with a mace. It's like,
As a
And Phil just
reaction,
looks
all
at
those
Solyndra
healing
yeah. As
turns to her.
a reaction, I take an overreaction, and
Solyndra-
I want to just hand the
Brian
jar
just looks at
back.
Solyndra like he's been betrayed. I remember this.
I'm going to take the strip of meat out, and I'm guessing it's like gone from my arm or something like that. I'm going
it's
to
like your back thigh. Yeah.
I'm going to hold the piece of meat there and go,
Okay, time to reassimilate.
I'm going to eat it.
And then I just look at Granny and go, Granny, give Dwyer back his jar.
All right, here.
And I throw it.
I'm gonna say you make the check. Yeah, like
I'm going to then try prestidigitation on the jar to see if I can clean it out of anything residual granny.
unfortunately, nothing cleans up Granny.
There's no power in the world.
They just defy magic.
Cast it at like 9th level, still doesn't work.
You cast a wish spell, and the gods are like,
Nope.
Can't help you.
Here's a bar of soap and a loofah. Good luck.
you're growling off to one side.
Just like snapping. Okay, so you guys are now just sort of mulling around inside of this room.
I'll ask Ren to take us to
Mm-hmm.
any exterior exit there is.
Yes,
There's a vent outside.
there are several vents, in fact. I could show
Yes.
you all the ones that are likely to have been used, presuming that that is, of course, what actually happened. Come along. And Ren will start walking. You notice, by the way, that Ren's gait is very regular. He never stumbles, stutters, pauses. In fact, he moves with such an efficiency, such an economy of motion, that his every stride is full, even when turning. He manages to time things perfectly so that he turns like exactly at the apex of any corner or curve.
I climb up on Enfield's shoulder.
I assist Granny into sitting on my shoulder. It's fine.
Two can play at this game.
And he takes you guys out the... actually, no, he does not take you out the front door. He takes you out the servant's door. And we'll start walking around the outer perimeter of the estate, pointing out as you go, like, and there's a vent, and there's a vent, and there's a door to the root cellar, and there's another door to the root cellar. That's the door to the wine cellar. There's another vent. There's a window, there's a window, there's a window. And he's just pointing out every single fucking opening in the place, of which there are probably an easy 100 or so.
DM, I have a question.
Okay, sounds like there are two.
Okay.
So let's go Solyndra, then Enfield.
I'm going to ask Dwyer to hold my hand so I can scout those out for any tampering with my hawk as we walk.
That would take you literal days. It's just not efficient.
But just like a quick, like if there's any like severe.
Okay, there's nothing obvious. There's no obvious tampering on any of them. Enfield?
My is it engineer feature urban infrastructure says that I can find blueprints of a specific building in order to learn the details of its construction. Now,
Yes.
obviously, they're not probably going to have them on the premises, but would I know where to go to get them for this particular building?
Oh, yes. The Azorius Guild maintains several fantastically detailed repositories of nearly every bureaucratic form ever made.
Awesome.
When I was in the vents, I basically went forward and then did a turn. Do I know which direction in relation to like north that turn was?
Yeah, you're a little turned around now that you've been walking around in normie space since then. But you're fairly confident that it would have been on the, we'll say, western side of the house.
I'm going to insist we go look over there.
Enfield is just going to go.
Yes, of course. However, we will continue the tour systematically. And so, there's an opening there, and there's an opening there, and then... And he calls them all
Eyes
out.
glaze over.
Yeah.
Okay. Put up my
I'm
foot.
just going where Granny told me to go, so I will walk past Ren if I need to, just like...
That's fine. Ren eventually catches back up with you guys on the western side of the house.
We hear in the distance, went over there, still over there.
Oh yeah, he'll be speaking to no one if that's what ends up happening. Like, he was given a task and he completes the task.
So, on this side of the house, how many vents are we looking at?
At least 6 that you can
On
see.
the second floor, vaguely, the
Yeah,
height-wise-ish.
yeah, like in that area there are 6. It looks like.
I'm just looking up at them, and then I look at Granny. I don't know if I can throw you that far.
When we catch up, I'm gonna look at them and go, "You sure it's one of these?"
I'm pretty sure. I mean, it's kind of hard to tell when you're
Okay.
like 30 different buses, but
Hand on Enfield's shoulder. That way, I know if something goes down, I'll feel Enfield move and I send my hawk up. And I'm like, examine these 6.
Okay. We'll say just give me 1 investigation check rather than 6.
Investigation, perception. Okay. Well,
Yeah, you're investigating.
I know. I have keen sight for my hawk while I'm looking through the hawk stuff.
Yeah, which is great for when you need a perception check. But right now,
Yeah. I know. That's all I was complaining about. Investigation.
I feel like if anybody could speak bug while I was going through the vents, they'd just be hearing me
19.
going, marching 2 by 2, hurrah.
I like to think it would more be like a collection of just scuttle, 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 damn, ow. All right. Scuttle, 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 damn, ow. All right.
2 by 2. Fuck.
Yeah.
Can we count to 2? What's going on?
1 too many lots.
Yes.
Hey me, go here. Woo, me? No, me.
Okay. Yeah, you actually. So it's the third one from the front. So it's near the middle, because there are 6, and it's in the front half. It's the first of the front half. You figure out which one it is, and you can see all the screws are in place, but you can tell by a slight chipping of the paint around the screws that this one has been tampered with, at least comparatively recently. The rest have a sort of a patina of age about them that suggests that they probably haven't been messed with since they were installed. This one seems as if it has been altered.
Okay. Once I figured this one out, I'll have my hawk turn around, and I want to survey the land to see what point, like what direction they most likely came to get to this vent.
Okay, so taking a look around, you see sort of rolling manicured lawn, several 15-foot tall giants in golden armor wielding clubs and axes, the size of smallish lampposts, lumbering slowly but purposefully around the yard. And then from there, it's, towards the front is a sort of like a country road that leads back towards what you would consider to be, what everyone except for you would consider to be civilization. And then off in the very far distance, you can see some smoke rising that suggests that perhaps the Gruul camps are over in that general direction, but it's several miles away.
Okay. Well, this may be completely stupid of me. So is there like a wall after a certain distance?
No, it's basically a very large, wide, open, flat plain.
Okay. I was just making sure there wasn't like a wall that they maybe dug under and just burrowed. Nope. Okay. I'm gonna have my hawk fly to the roof.
Okay.
I'm going to look for any scuff marks, any like chip paint, anything up there that suggests maybe there's a grappling hook, or that they came from a different side first, over the roof, and then back down.
Give me another investigation check.
Okay. Nat 1.
I mean, you're not seeing anything, but it's a roof. There's, a variety of sort of old things up here, stuff that seems to be forgotten, possibly even since the original construction. There's a small metal shack on the roof that is surrounded by bird cages with a number of pigeons inside of the cages. All of them sort of cooing wildly. And there is a servant who is without its mask. So you can see the gray, decayed, desiccated corpse face of this person who is feeding the pigeons.
Okay. I'm going to bring my hawk back, turn to the others. I think we have enough to start some leads. We don't want to waste Rin's time.
It is no bother. I am yours for the duration.
What do you usually do all day, Ren?
I clean. I move things from one place to another. I handle whatever tasks I am asked to handle. I buttle.
Do you ever play cards?
Once. A long time ago.
Going to.
Do you have a lot of job satisfaction?
We're taking a survey.
Don't understand those words in that combination.
Well, I mean, it's how language works. You combine words together and they form a new meaning.
Yes. What is the meaning of job satisfaction?
Being satisfied within the context of your job.
Dwyer's like stunned looking at Granny like, so there is a brain in there.
I would have to say it is not applicable.
Let's go.
Do you watch any sports?
No.
Do you play them?
No.
Do you laugh?
When ordered. There's a cat off screen. When ordered to.
When do you get ordered to laugh?
Every once in a while, when particularly gregarious guests are here, they make jokes. We have been instructed that upon the completion of a joke, we should laugh, just in case no one else does.
That makes sense. People are always telling me to smile.
They
You
tell
don't
me
have
the
lips.
same thing.
My face doesn't do that.
I'm gonna just start heading for the eggs at this point.
Yeah.
Enfield's having a moment of simpatico here.
Yeah.
Slender's like, I have all the info I need. Why are we asking useless questions?
Granny paid a nickel. She's getting her nickel's worth.
But Granny didn't pay anything.
That's beside the point.
It's like
Granny
if
paid
you
in
know,
fire.
if you know that you can ask as many questions as you want, but you run out of questions, you just start making them up.
I know, that's why I'm just like hood up, just putting more
This is-
slab like
this is
on
basically-
my
Enfield's
neck.
still carrying Granny, just like
Yeah. By the way,
This
when Cylindra puts her hood up, she becomes slightly difficult to focus on.
This is basically the same interrogation method that I used on the bug lady.
Ren,
And you know why she's trying to run away. We know how that ended last time.
just hand her to me. Just 'cause if all she's gonna okay, fine.
Now you have
Aw.
Granny Mythics.
Yes, she complained until Portia brought her in. And,
She has
That's how
a
a Granny
very
Mythics
wait,
do.
if you're all quiet,
You can
She's-
hear the TV in the other room.
yeah, she's usually pretty loud, but she's being.
I heard it.
I think she's miffed.
we could hear her right up until the point where you picked her up.
She
My
has
niece is
you
the same
very
way.
well trained.
Well, no, she's purring right now. But anyway, all right. So
Okay, my niece doesn't do that. That'd be a trick.
My niece does.
anywho,
Well, just
so Ren will accompany you all the way to the front of the grounds, where he will call a carriage over. It has Orzhov markings and is really quite fancy. And he says, "You will be taken wherever you need."
I'm gonna look at the others and go, I need to check my library.
Would you like some company?
Not particularly. They tend to not like outsiders in the library.
Understood.
Ugh. And
There's a library near here.
Zed, I think you know what library I'm talking about.
Maybe. But it sounds like something that would be better handled in the off. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I
Ladies
understood
and
that.
gentlethems,
Yeah.
you just saw a Shakes break.
It's her little sock paws kill me every time. All right, so where are you guys headed?
I'd like to just ask Ren before we go to if anyone had asked the giant guards if they saw anyone leaving the premises, or to ask that someone does ask them if they haven't already.
The giants do not respond.
No, I'm not asking the giants. I'm asking Ren if anyone questioned the giants, or if they didn't, could someone question the giants?
The
some point.
giants were questioned. They say they saw nothing.
Must
And
have
do
been
you
a row.
believe them?
Say again.
I get the feeling both of them were being sarcastic.
Yeah.
A little bit.
I don't understand that reference. I'll just incline my head at Ren and get in the carriage.
It was nice meeting you. Enfield?
Yes. Thank you.
I'm Granny.
Yes, you are. Good evening. If you will turn sharply and walk away.
And just sit in the carriage like,
Full name is Granny Subtlety Mivix.
Enfield writes that down.
Hang on one sec. I gotta actually move. Nope.
Cat wrangling. See, this is why it is your DM's job to literally herd cats.
Sorry.
Not
The
just
reason
you.
she's not allowed in here, and the reason why there's only one cat that's actually allowed in here right now, is because they keep trying. There's a spot on the carpet that we just can't figure out how to clean in such a way that they don't want to mess with it. We think the people who lived here before had a litter box near there.
Or just a roast chicken. You never know.
No, because if it were a chicken, then the one who is allowed to be in here would be there all the time. He is a noted chicken thief. But the other ones,
I could have gone with trout. It's just,
That's got to be the most frustrating thing, to smell chicken and not be able to find it.
oh yeah, well, and that's a lot of his life because I don't always feed him. That's not true. I usually feed him. Anyway, so you guys can head wherever you like, but I think that's actually a good point for us to stop on. It being 8:42, so let's go ahead, go around, and share. First off, remind everyone who you are in real life, or at least in your real online life. And then I'd like your favorite moment of today's game. Let's go ahead and start with the late one, Dwyer.
Oh no, that's me, and I was muted. So I'm Cubit, aka Queeby, on Twitter and Discord sometimes. I try to be good about being on there. Anyway, and my favorite part, honestly, the frog shenanigans. That was very good. When Granny was like, "Can I fit in there?" No. What about as a frog? That's just, I'm going to have to go clip that. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Dwyer. Next up, let's go with Solendra.
Okay, my name's Nav, or Navuti, as you will find me on most places, including pretty much every video game I ever played. So if you're looking for friends on like Rainbow Six or anything, let me know. You'll find me as Navuti on Discord and Navuti Gaming on Twitter, which I'm trying to get more active on. And my favorite part is the 2 instances where Cylindra got roasted by Granny Mivix. Slowly building up to that fear of fire or anything extremely hot.
To be fair, the first one was just light.
What is light but extremely hot? Almost fire.
In this case, the light of the gods. It's fucking
Right.
radiant damage.
Thankfully, the light of the moon. Druid here.
Yes, a celestial flashlight. Okay, fair enough.
From a magnifying glass.
Granny Mivix.
I am Rain Hayes, and you can find me on Twitter at RainGhost, surrounded by X's. You can also find me on the Discord as Raindust. You can find me here on Mondays playing this, on Fridays playing the Masks game. I have no idea when the Legends game is coming back. And we have a few other games that are coming up, but they're kind of in the year right now, so not sure when that actually gets started. And you can find me on Dungeon Masters Guild, where I have numerous products. My favorite part of today was definitely being a frog. Just the frog, the image of a frog with that super long, fast tongue licking the science and then setting off a fire trap and nat 20 it, so he's just like almost Charlie's Angels through the fire.
I like to think of it more as like a potato gun. Just a foomp. Excellent. I agree. The frog was pretty solid. Good detective work. Yeah. So, and something I do want to say before we get to Enfield, that so yeah, not every episode or session or whatever is going to be combat-y, but how are you guys feeling about the detective side of things? Is this working out for you guys okay?
Finally, all those years of watching Midsummer Murders, Jonathan Creek, Poirot, Miss Marple, and every other stupid detective show pays off. Except for I'm still not very good at it.
I mean, we even had a Columbo reference, so.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
It made me very happy. As you guys progress, you will start like there will be a point where I'll relax a bit on giving you new cases, and instead you'll get more time to investigate the ones you already have.
I remembered to fingerprint things. That's very important for detectives to do. You get powder over everything.
It is. I really appreciated that. You made a fantastic mess.
And then I remembered gloves exist.
Yeah, it's okay. But now you know that they were wearing some. I mean, that's the thing, right? Like,
or maybe they just didn't have hands.
Also possible. So, speaking of Enfield.
Oh, hi! I am Shakes, also known as Shakespeare. You can find me on Twitter at Shakespeare. You can find me on Instagram as well. I'm not as active over there. You can also find me in several games through the week. I play a game just before this one over on Holotale's channel called Mistborn, which is a Saltmarsh Ravenloft adventure where we're all slightly incompetent pirates, but it's fun.
You said it's called Mistborn?
Yep.
That's so weird. Sorry, Mistborn is also the name of a Brandon Sanderson novel.
Which is very good.
It's fucking awesome. It's actually a whole series. Anyway, there's a whole thing. Sorry, totally different.
It's like a trilogy in a universe.
And they even made a role-playing game for it. Sorry. You talk. It's your...
And back from Book Corner, I also play on a Tuesday game. I play a Waterdeep game over on Penfly Inc.'s channel. And I'm currently playing in Dex Curios, which is an Unhallowed Metropolis game over on Encounter Roleplay, which is on Thursdays, which is really fun gothic stuff. I also knit things, which you can find on my Twitter. And my favorite part was pretty much every time I got to lift Granny up because it's so cute, I die. It's just so adorable to just portable goblin friend.
I love that both of us were ready to shot put Granny.
Yeah, it's just become a thing now. It's just like, okay, throw you. That's fine. That's a thing we can do now. And
You're
just the scooping of the centipedes.
Is this how we are going to check for traps now? Is just yeet a Granny across the hall?
I also
Granny's down.
I also just really love the situations I'm finding where I can like eke out more of Enfield's weird not humanity, like the give Granny her flesh back moment, which was wonderful. Just like having a bunch of kindergartners, great. So yeah, I love this game so much.
Yay!
Mhm.
And then I guess it's just me because we're missing an Angrak. Hi, my name is Zed. ZX on Twitter, ZEDECXZ. And I am. Never mind the noise that you just heard. I am also on this channel on Saturdays for Mouse Guard, the Queens of Ven, run by 4, and that game is quite a lot of fun. I play a sort of a grumpy little mouse. And then there is a Shadowrun game that I'm in over on Devil's Luck Gaming. That is on Sundays, starts at 8. Throck runs that game. He's also in the Mouse Guard game I'm in. But he runs the Shadowrun game, and we should be back this next Sunday is the idea. We took a little bit of time off for things. And then obviously I am here every Monday from 6 to 9 p.m. Along with Portia, who is behind me dancing.
I'm imitating your robot dance.
There's a GIF,
Without
by the
the
way,
accent,
which I
because it's
absolutely
awful.
love.
Your accent's awful.
I take pride in my accent work. Thank you very much.
It's terrible.
Oh no.
Anyway. So. I think it's a lovely impression of Dick Van Dyke, who's known the world over for the accuracy of his British accent. Ow.
Still
I was waiting
more
for
accurate than Bait Boop.
You were so
Bait boop.
Nope.
So otherwise, thank you very much. I need to thank our sponsors. Please back a safe amount. I have a bubble. I want to thank our sponsors, Rue Inc., Tabletop Loot, So Nerdware, and Roll20. Roll20 in particular has, we're using it. There's the thing there. You can see it. Additionally, we would normally kick off to somebody else, but there is a one-shot game coming up just after us, so please do stick around for that. It is a Halloween-themed honey heist, and the sub-caption here is an unbearably spooky time.
I was imitating Bendy in Chapter 5, coming up on the chair being spooky.
Yes. Back away, you.
Do not poke me with a stick.
No mere stick. Anyway, so please stick around for the one shot. That should be pretty sweet. And otherwise, we'll see you guys next Monday. So thank you very much, and have an otherwise pretty welcome party good time. Bye bye.